hold you high and rest you on my shoulder. We could lie sides in July.
Hi everyone, it's Teacher Wendy. We're back for another lesson today. Today we're going to be taking the next step in art instruction for you guys, for beginners or intermediate. It's a good thing to review too if you're intermediate or an advanced student or an adult student. We're going to be moving from two-dimensional to 3D drawings of animals as an introduction to still life. So today I'd like to introduce you to our duck. He is just beautiful. Look at all these gorgeous colors on him. I gave this duck to my parents as a gift when I was a teenager, and we use him for Thanksgiving gravy or Christmas gravy. He's a mallard and he's got beautiful colors, and he is three-dimensional. He is a three-dimensional animal, but he's not a sculpture. Actually, he is a gravy boat or a soup tureen. So we're going to cut him in half and then put him back together again, but we're going to pretend he's a sculpture. So we're going to use this today for our drawing, and I'm going to be drawing him from right here today and just doing a demonstration to you of what I see and how we're going to do it. Just like we do our regular drawings, we're going to start at a good starting point and, you know, start with the eye, the beak, the rest of the body, just like we do with any other animals that we've drawn. But the difference is I'm looking at a three-dimensional object, and that's going to be a new way to see. So instead of copying me and what my drawing looks like, you're going to be learning how to copy other objects. What a still life is any object, not a human, but an object that is still, and you as an artist are going to learn how to draw it, and you can set up a still life of anything. Today we're just going to do this gravy boat, but in the future we're going to do all sorts of different fun objects that I can find around my house that I've done for other classes. You could do flower arrangements, you can do teapots, anything. So I'm going to get my materials right now. I'm going to grab my paper, and I have it on a clipboard, on a big clipboard. You can do it on anything. If you have any kind of clip, you can ask your mom and dad for a clip to clip your paper on a clipboard, or you can put it on a book or a pad, a notepad. So if we had this duck set up in the classroom, it would be viewed differently depending on where you were sitting. And so you can imagine if you were sitting on one side of the classroom, it would look this way, and then if you were on the other side, you would get it from a different angle, just like when we did Pocahontas the pig that time. I'm going to look at this duck from this angle, and I'm going to demonstrate to you. And if you want to, grab your own paper, your own Sharpie, or your pencil, whatever you're comfortable with. And I'm going to put my paper at a horizontal angle, landscape. And just like we do with our other animal drawings, I'm going to start off figuring out where I'm going to put the eye. And I'm looking at the duck, and I can see his eye is on the top upper corner of the paper. I have to leave room for the top of his head. And I want to make him pretty big so he's filling the whole page. But if you want to make him smaller, I always give you that option. You want to put him out on a lake or on your swimming pool. Okay, so it's a very simple little eye on this guy. It's just a regular circle with a dot inside. That's how I'm going to start off. Then I'm going to do the beak. As I look at his beak, it's about that far of a distance from his eye. So I'm going to go ahead and make that connecting line, a diagonal line, and I'm going to do his beak. And it's a kind of a curved diagonal, comes to a point, and then it comes back. This is what makes him look very duck-like, and it has that little opening coming in about like that. So you can see he's already getting a little cute little personality. Now I'm going to do his head. I'm watching, instead of looking at a drawing or any kind of outline that I've already done, I'm looking at the actual object. So I'm going to give you the opportunity to do that if you want. I'm going to get an object. I'm going to take a photograph of this duck, and you can draw it straight from the duck instead of following me. But this is for those of you who like to copy me and my steps. Okay, so from here, I have to make his head, and so I'm looking to see how far away from his eye is the top of his head, and I'm looking and I'm seeing that it's a curve and a roundish curve that goes up a diagonal, and then it curves up, and it's about that high, and it goes around and down. Goes to about there, and then it starts forming into his back. But let's do the front of his neck right now. And so it goes about here, it goes about right under his eye, it curves down, and I have to pay attention to how wide that neck is going to be. So I look at the inside negative space area right below the beak to find out how that curve looks. So I don't want to make his neck too skinny. It's not going to look realistic. As you can see, it's a fairly substantial neck. So I'm going to curve around pretty quickly and curve around to show the front of his body. It goes all the way down like that. So that looks duckish. It's not standing up. He's sitting on the water. And I'm about ready to now go down to do his back. So I'm going to go from a vertical line quickly to a horizontal line right around here. So I'm going to go, let's see, it goes horizontally across, and then there's his little tail, and then it kind of goes down like that and all the way down. It's a very simple little shape. I'm not going to do that line that shows that he's actually a gravy boat. But I do see some other lines, and we've done feathers before for other animals. When we did the rooster, when we've done other birds, the robin. I don't know if we did the robin in this class. All right, so let's do some of these feather shapes on the inside of this big body. All right, so it comes down like this, and then we have some feather shapes that are kind of going on his tail feather, some scallopy kind of lines. And a lot of you have a different way of describing it than I do that I'm sure looks really good. But I'm seeing a lot of, I'm looking at these details. I'm going to just show you so you can see what I'm drawing, because there are some details on here that you might be interested in seeing. So, do you see all the feather shapes that are kind of sculpted into a pattern on his back? So, I don't know how you can see it with the reflection, but it is really pretty. Okay, so watch me as I continue to describe the feathers on the back of this mallard. And I'm going to ignore the line that I see, and I'm just going to start making some long feathers, and just going to have them kind of come to a point, because I'm looking at this and I can see that there's a few layers of feathers. So there's a kind of a layer like here, and then some long feathers kind of come to a point. And some of you have done feathers before, and you totally have your own style and ideas, because I've seen some beautiful feathers. So there's some feathers that come down, and if you want, you can make the details. The feathers have kind of a spine down the middle with that kind of a pattern. You can do that. So while I'm doing this, you can just go ahead and do your pattern. And if any time you want to get caught up, just go ahead and stop the video so you can all be with me. And don't worry about getting behind, because you're not going to really get behind when you stop the video. You can stop it at any time. So you're going to be making a really cool pattern. We're going to do markers on this, by the way, to color. All right, then there's another layer of feathers that goes on top of this. So kind of creates another diagonal pattern. These kind of create another layer, feathers, and then we're coming to some really short scalloped feathers at the top. So I'm going to try to layer those on top here. We've done scallops for fish scales and all sorts of birds. And so this one has kind of a line in between. So I'm going to make that type of pattern. You can figure out a way to continue a pattern at the bottom. I'm looking and there's just, instead of drawing every single one, I'm just going to give the impression of feathers, just like we've done before. And that's what mine look like. When you're getting up to the neck, it's going to let's see. All right, well that kind of works. Okay, it looks like there's some soft feathers that are kind of around his chest. And there we go. I'm gonna look and see what there is around his head. I just think mostly it's color. So at this point, I'm going to there's a little, I forgot to do his little foot. His little webbed foot is tucked under his body there. So you might be able to see some ripples of water on the lake as he's paddling along. And you could make the surface of the water kind of behind him, maybe in the background. You could just create your own habitat, your environment. Maybe there's some trees, bushes, whatever you want to draw. But maybe along the side, there's some other ducks off in the distance that you can draw if you like. So now what I'm going to do is give you the opportunity to look at
tomorrow. Yes, I know that I love you tomorrow. I pick you up, take you out, hold you high and rest you on my shoulders. We could lie on our sides in July and think of rolling over. There are no guarantees where we may go, but I know I'll love you tomorrow. Yes, I know that I love you tomorrow. You and I, we don't mind when it's dark outside. We let ourselves unwind so we can dream again. you're going doesn't matter. And in between the sycamore trees, you and me walk happily together.